Have you ever felt a chill down your spine while you're all alone at home? Let's delve into a tale that just might make you question every creak and whisper you hear in your own abode. Our story begins with a man, let's call him John. A new city, a new job, and a new apartment. John was starting fresh and was filled with anticipation. But as the sun set on his first day in his new home, something strange began to happen. The silence of the night was broken by whispers, soft and unintelligible, like a hushed conversation happening just out of earshot. At first, John dismissed it as the echoes of his new environment, the unfamiliar noises of an unfamiliar place. But as the nights rolled on, the whispers grew louder, more insistent, like they were demanding to be heard. They seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once, slipping through the shadows that danced around his apartment. Driven by a mix of curiosity and fear, John decided to investigate. He searched every nook and cranny, behind every door and under every piece of furniture. But the source of the whispers remained elusive. The only thing that became clear was that he was not alone. Each night, the whispers seemed to grow more desperate, more urgent. They filled the silence with an eerie symphony that kept John awake, his heart pounding against his chest. He could feel the presence, a chill that seemed to seep into his bones, a sense of dread that clung to him like a second skin. As he lay awake one night, the whispers rose to a crescendo, a cacophony of hushed voices that echoed around him. And in that moment, John realized he was not just hearing the whispers, he was feeling them, a spectral touch that sent shivers down his spine. In his new apartment under the cover of darkness, John had stumbled upon a presence that refused to be ignored, a tale of the past that demanded to be heard. The whispers, it seemed, were not just sounds. They were echoes of a story, a ghostly narrative that lived in the shadows. Who knew that a whisper could carry such dread and terror? A child's laughter is the most innocent sound, but what if it echoes in an empty house? Imagine this, a young couple, full of dreams and hopes, moving into a charming old Victorian house. The house, with its towering spires and intricate woodwork, is a sight to behold. But with its beauty, it also harbors a chilling secret. From the first night, the couple experiences the inexplicable. A fleeting movement at the corner of their eyes, a sudden drop in temperature, a cold sensation that sends shivers down their spine. But the most unsettling of all is the faint, distant sound of a child's laughter echoing throughout the empty house. It's a chilling mystery that the couple can't shake off. They search the house looking for the source of the laughter, but all they find are empty rooms and silence. It's as if the child appears and then vanishes, leaving behind only the chilling echo of its laughter. As days turn into weeks, the apparition becomes more frequent. The child appears in broad daylight, at the foot of the stairs, in the garden, even at the dinner table. It's always the same, a fleeting glimpse of a child, followed by the chilling laughter and a cold sensation. Desperate for answers, the couple starts digging into the house's history. They uncover a tragic tale from decades ago, a tale of a child, the beloved son of the house's original owners, who died at a tender age in the very house they now call home. The laughter they hear, the apparition they see, it all starts to make a chilling sense. It's the child, stuck between the world of the living and the dead, forever trapped in his childhood home. The realization is as chilling as the apparition itself. Their beautiful dream house is haunted by the playful spirit of a child who once lived and laughed there. The next time you hear a child's laughter, you might want to double check if there's really a child around. Hospitals are places of healing, but what if they're also places of haunting? Let's journey into the tale of a nurse named Margaret, who found herself entangled in a web of spectral events in the hospital she devoted her life to. Margaret's hospital was like any other, filled with the buzz of doctors, nurses, patients, and the undercurrent of hope and despair. Yet, there was something else that lingered there, something unseen, something otherworldly. Margaret's encounters with the supernatural began subtly. She would catch fleeting glimpses of figures at the corner of her eye, figures that would vanish when she turned to look directly. These apparitions wore the faces of patients who had once occupied the hospital beds but had long since departed from the world of the living. The strange incidents didn't stop at apparitions. Night shifts took on an eerie quality as the hospital's usual clamor gave way to an unsettling silence, punctuated by inexplicable noises. The clatter of surgical tools from empty operating rooms, the echo of hushed whispers down desolate hallways, and the distant sound of weeping from vacant rooms became a part of Margaret's nightly routine. Margaret was not the only one who experienced these eerie occurrences. Her fellow nurses and doctors reported similar encounters, their stories intertwining and building on each other, creating a tapestry of chills, disbelief, and fear. It was as if the hospital was a stage and the departed patients were its ghostly actors, replaying their final moments over and over again. Despite the fear and unease, Margaret continued her work, driven by her commitment to her patients. Her encounters with the supernatural became a part of her life, an unsettling yet constant reminder of the thin veil separating the living from the dead. The next time you visit a hospital, remember it might not just be the living who are walking its halls. So tread lightly, listen carefully, and keep your eyes wide open. After all, hospitals are places of healing, but as Margaret's tale reminds us, they might also be places of haunting. Sometimes the most terrifying things are hidden just beneath us. A chilling sentiment, isn't it? But for one unsuspecting family, it became a horrifying reality when they discovered a cellar in their new home. Now, a cellar, in and of itself, is not an unusual feature. You store things, maybe some old furniture, perhaps a few forgotten trinkets. But this cellar was different. As soon as the door was opened, a cold gust of wind seemed to escape, as if it had been sealed away for decades. It was a breath of the past, carrying with it an eerie sense of unease. The family tried to shake off the feeling, attributing it to the unfamiliarity of their new home. But then the strange occurrences began. Objects moved on their own, as if guided by an invisible hand. An antique vase, previously resting peacefully on a shelf, was found shattered on the floor. Toys would mysteriously find their way into the cellar, despite the children's insistence that they hadn't ventured down there. And the noises. Whispers in the dark. A low hum that seemed to come from the very walls of the cellar. It was a sound that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. A sound that seemed to echo with a dread long forgotten. The family was living in a constant state of fear. They could feel it, a presence, a weight that hung in the air. It was as if they had released something from the cellar, something that was better left locked away. They sought help, of course. Paranormal investigators, mediums, anyone who might provide some answers, some relief. But no one could deny the truth of what they had unleashed. In the end, they had no choice but to leave, to escape the sinister cellar and the terror it held. But even now, they can't shake the feeling that whatever they released is still out there. The key to your new home might just be the key to your worst nightmare. Goodbyes can be hard, but a goodbye from the other side can be bone-chilling. Picture this. A woman, let's call her Alice, was grappling with the loss of her husband. He was her rock, her best friend, the love of her life. His sudden departure left a void in her life that she struggled to fill. His voice, once a source of comfort, had faded into silence, or so she thought. One day, Alice's phone rang. The familiar digits of her late husband's number flashed on the screen. Her heart skipped a beat. She picked up the call, her hand trembling, her mind swirling with a cocktail of fear and disbelief. And then she heard it. His voice, as clear as day, filled her ears. It was him, unmistakably. His voice echoed in the room, filled with love and warmth. He told her he loved her, that he was sorry for leaving her so soon. He told her he was at peace, that she should find her own peace too. His voice was calm, soothing, but the words he spoke sent chills down her spine. Alice was frozen, her mind trying to process the unimaginable. She was talking to her deceased husband. He was gone, yet here he was, reaching out from the beyond, saying his goodbyes, giving her closure. After he hung up, Alice sat in stunned silence, the phone still clutched in her hand. She was left with a profound sense of peace and a chilling tale that she'd carry for the rest of her life. This is the eerie reality of the ghostly goodbye. A farewell from beyond the grave. A voice from the shadows. A spectral message of love. It's a chilling reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the next. Remember, when a loved one says goodbye, it might not be their last.